Get your daily news fix. From NewsSourceCrawler's latest edition. April 4, 2025 featuring Get your daily news fix. From NewsSourceCrawler's latest edition. April 4, 2025 featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Top songs on YouTube music charts, global edition from March 21 to March 27, 2025. 1. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars 3. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and Jair Torres 4. Like Jenny by Jenny. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, March 21 to Thursday, March 27, 2025. Features the following tracks. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga, APT by Rose and Bruno Mars, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and Anxiety by Doekiai. Top-selling digital games on Nintendo US as of March 31, 2025. Minecraft, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Definitive Edition, and Stardew Valley. Steam's most popular games. Featuring the leading titles in sales and player engagement on the platform. Based on the revenue rankings of the top 100 products, for the period from Tuesday, March 18, 2025, to Tuesday, March 25, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, REPO, Split Fiction, Monster Hunter Wilds. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA has issued a detailed report on the Resurge malware, which is linked to the Ivanti Connect secure system. One more drop in the ocean of AI. ByteDance introduces Mega TTS 3, a remarkable addition. This text-to-speech, TTS, system is characterized by its lightweight and efficient design, with the core TTS diffusion transformer containing a mere 0.45 billion parameters. It excels in producing ultra-high-quality voice clones, as demonstrated in the video provided below. The performance of recent TTS models on the seed test sets is detailed in the accompanying table. Mega TTS 3 offers bilingual capabilities, accommodating both Chinese and English, and includes the ability to switch between languages. It also provides control over accent intensity and, in the near future, will allow for precise adjustments to pronunciation and duration. Coinbase CEO, Brian Armstrong, has expressed the opinion that Congress ought to permit stablecoin companies to offer interest payments to their users. A prominent U.S. lawmaker has rejected Coinbase's request for the introduction of interest-bearing stablecoins. Circle has announced the hiring of J.P. Morgan and Citi with the intention of filing for an initial public offering, IPO, in late April, as reported by Fortune. Furthermore, Bloomberg has provided commentary on how tariffs are causing disruptions in the Bitcoin mining supply chain, which is heavily based in Asia. NYC Mayor Eric Adams' legal case has been dismissed with prejudice, even though the Trump administration had requested the option to pursue prosecution later. Mayor Adams has decided to bypass the Democratic primary and will instead seek re-election as an independent candidate. The Hill has noted that both Vance and Harris are considered leading contenders for the 2028 White House race. In other news, Mike Pence is set to receive the JFK Profile Encourage Award for his role in certifying the 2020 election results. 7 months ago, Vance reiterated that he would not have certified the 2020 election if he had been vice president. Furthermore, a year ago, a witness testified that Trump had warned Pence that certifying the election results would be detrimental to his career. In the United States, the number of people struggling to afford healthcare and medication has reached an unprecedented level. A study indicates that the wealthiest individuals in America have a life expectancy similar to that of the least affluent people in Europe. Hong Kong has decided not to impose restrictions on the amount of screen time students are allowed, despite growing health worries. The FDA is anticipating a reduction in the number of inspections for food and drugs as a result of layoffs, according to officials. In the United States, multiple federal agencies have initiated a deferred resignation program to motivate employees to resign from their positions. The White House has stated that Musk will remain in his role until he finishes his mission related to Doge. Amazon and the founder of OnlyFans have submitted final offers to purchase TikTok as the deadline in the United States approaches. TikTok for Artists is being evaluated as President Trump considers a proposal for a TikTok America. Additionally, statistics reveal that more than 90% of student suicides in Hong Kong involved individuals aged 12 and older. Beijing urges HSBC to assist in enhancing relations between China and the United Kingdom, as well as to elevate Hong Kong's reputation. The acquisition of Discover by Capital One has successfully passed a review by the Department of Justice. Denmark's Maersk has acquired the Panama Canal Railway Company. A 55-year-old underwater camera trap, originally set to capture evidence of the Loch Ness Monster, has been discovered. Ancient DNA analysis has uncovered the existence of a previously unknown human tribe that once inhabited the Green Sahara. Furthermore, Amazon is set to launch its inaugural batch of Kuiper satellites on April 9. Oracle has informed its clients about a second recent hacking incident, during which login credentials were compromised. It has also been reported that Oracle attempted to conceal this significant cybersecurity breach from its customers using the Oracle SaaS service. TikTok is facing a potential fine of €500 million due to its data export practices between the EU and China. Furthermore, European law enforcement has successfully dismantled KidFlix, described as one of the world's largest platforms for pedophiles, through a collaborative operation. Ford plans to provide employee pricing to all customers in the United States for the upcoming 2 months as new auto tariffs are implemented, leading to an increase in car prices. According to a former Ford CEO, this price hike is simply a matter of mathematics. It has been reported that Tesla currently holds $200 million in Cybertruck inventory. Furthermore, Xiaomi's electric vehicle division is set to deliver over 29,000 cars in March 2025. The renowned Binoculars building in Los Angeles is now available for purchase. In New York, a luxurious quadplex penthouse located on Billionaires Row is being offered for a staggering $110 million. A leading insurance company has issued a warning that the ongoing climate crisis is poised to dismantle capitalism. Furthermore, a study has revealed a 7,000-year trend indicating that El Niño events are becoming increasingly frequent. Slovakia has given the green light to the culling of 350 bears following a tragic incident where a man was fatally mauled in the most recent deadly attack. In India, the parliament has approved a contentious bill that aims to alter the management of Muslim endowments. The demoscene, a subculture focused on creating computer art and music, has been officially acknowledged in Sweden as part of UNESCO's cultural heritage. The fourth installment of the Now You See Me series is being developed, with the third film officially titled Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Disney's live-action adaptation of Tangled has been put on hold indefinitely. Glenn Powell is currently filming a remake of Running Man in London, marking 37 years since the original film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Trump has implemented a 10% tariff on a global scale, accompanied by increased reciprocal rates. Bloomberg has remarked that this tariff rollout marks the beginning of a new era filled with risks for the global economy. The White House has stated that Russia and Belarus are exempt from these extensive tariffs because of pre-existing sanctions. In response, China has pledged to retaliate, accusing the United States of bullying after it imposed a 34% reciprocal tariff. Greece has committed to allocating $27 billion for a comprehensive overhaul of its armed forces, focusing on advanced high-tech warfare technology. In the United States, Army planners are considering significant reductions, potentially cutting up to 90,000 active-duty soldiers from their ranks. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are planning to establish a combined military force to combat the ongoing jihadist insurgency in their region. The Department of Defense in the United States has launched an investigation into Pete Hegseth's utilization of the Signal messaging app. It is reported that Waltz's team established at least 20 Signal group chats to manage crises globally. The European Commission is targeting end-to-end encryption and has suggested that Europol should be developed into an EU equivalent of the FBI. 5 VPN applications available in the App Store have been found to have connections to the Chinese military. An Israeli military operation resulted in the deaths of numerous individuals at a shelter located in Gaza City, according to official statements. Hungary has announced its intention to exit the International Criminal Court during a visit by Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Axios has disclosed that Jared Kushner's Abraham Accords Institute is set to merge with the Heritage Foundation. The United States has implemented a prohibition on its government employees stationed in China from engaging in any romantic or sexual relationships with Chinese nationals. Radio Free Europe has reported that the United States has deactivated a satellite that was previously used to transmit Russian broadcasts. Furthermore, Standard & Poor's has warned that the tariffs imposed by former President Trump could potentially lead to an increase in bad loans in China, reaching levels not seen since the pandemic. GPT 4.5 successfully completes Turing test with Persona. AI's conversational skills achieve unprecedented levels. In commemoration of Microsoft's 50th anniversary, Bill Gates has made available the original source code of BASIC for the Altair 8080. Indian technology startups valued at $100 billion are expected to pursue initial public offerings by the year 2027. The Trump administration has dismissed the director of the National Security Agency, following a report by The Washington Post that a far-right activist had advocated for his removal. The Hill has noted that Trump has made history by granting a pardon to a corporation. The White House has decided to delay the garden tours scheduled for Saturday due to anticipated anti-Trump protests. Canada has introduced restricted retaliatory actions against the United States, labeling President Trump's decision as a tragic event. In response to the unjustified tariffs imposed by the U.S., Canada plans to impose a 25% tax on American automobiles, as announced by Carney. Japan expresses significant worry over the U.S.'s reciprocal tariffs and insists on their removal. French President Macron urges European Union companies to halt their investments in the United States. Trump's recent tariffs have been described as creating a $1 trillion barrier to international trade for the U.S. economy. Trump has expressed willingness to reduce tariffs if presented with exceptional offers. The European Union plans to focus on U.S. online services in response to Trump's tariffs, as stated by France. In China, Pinduoduo is set to invest over $13 billion across 3 years to aid merchants. Bulgaria's ruling administration manages to withstand a no-confidence motion initiated by a political faction aligned with Russia. Russia has prohibited Elton John's AIDS Foundation, citing the need to protect spiritual and moral values. Additionally, the pro-Russian leader of Bosnian Serbs, Dodik, appears in Moscow while facing legal charges in Bosnia. The Michael Jackson biopic is expected to be divided into 2 films, which will result in a postponed release date. A live-action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon 2 is set to hit theaters in 2027. Furthermore, Bruce Springsteen plans to release 7 albums featuring previously unreleased music, titled Tracks 2, The Lost Albums. Bonobos employ a form of syntax that was previously believed to be exclusive to humans. Marine microorganisms have been found to possess novel gene clusters that facilitate hydrogen production. The cells that cover your skin and organs have the ability to produce electricity when they are damaged, which could lead to innovative approaches for wound treatment. The United States Department of Energy is extending an invitation to companies interested in developing artificial intelligence data centers on the grounds of Los Alamos National Laboratory and other federal properties. Google is reportedly in advanced negotiations with CoreWeave to lease NVIDIA's AI servers. The information has remarked on NVIDIA's predicament, as Chinese companies have swiftly placed orders for $16 billion worth of new AI chips. Research indicates that an artificial sweetener commonly used in diet beverages may be associated with alterations in the brain that lead to heightened appetite. The United States Supreme Court has mostly supported the Food and Drug Administration's decision to reject applications for flavored vaping products. A challenging work environment might be subtly hindering initiatives aimed at boosting birth rates. Intel and TSMC have recently engaged in discussions about establishing a joint venture in the chip-making industry. In a related development, OpenAI has reported that users of ChatGPT have created more than 700 million images within a single week. The use of AI bots has led to a significant increase in bandwidth usage at Wikimedia, with a surge of 50%. Advertising is prohibited on all websites that are blocked in Russia, effective from September. Spotify informs advertisers that users are actively engaging with the app rather than passively scrolling. According to the New York Times, QVC has introduced its inaugural 24/7 live shopping streams on TikTok. Mark Zuckerberg is actively engaging in discussions with Donald Trump to resolve the antitrust lawsuit filed against Meta. Concurrently, a U.S. Senate committee has initiated an investigation into Meta's strategies to penetrate the Chinese market. Brazil has launched an inquiry into Apple regarding its app tracking transparency policy, following a complaint from Meta. The New York Times has reported that the European Union is preparing significant penalties for Elon Musk's company, X. Amazon has introduced a new AI agent designed to browse and purchase items from various third-party websites on your behalf. OpenAI and Anthropic are engaged in a competition to attract college students by offering them free access to AI technology. A DeepMind program has demonstrated its AI prowess by mastering the game Minecraft, successfully locating diamonds without any prior instruction. Nature has announced that the Trump administration instructed the National Institutes of Health to conduct research on feelings of regret experienced by transgender individuals following their transition. YouTube has updated its hate speech policy to exclude gender identity from the list of protected categories. The Ultimate Fighting Championship has entered into a comprehensive sponsorship agreement with Meta, which is expected to strengthen the relationship between Mark Zuckerberg and Dana White. The 2025 MTV Video Music Awards will be broadcast on CBS for the first time, while also being simulcast on MTV. The Simpsons, Family Guy, and Bob's Burgers have been renewed for an additional 4 seasons, and American Dad is set to make a comeback on Fox. Furthermore, the NHL has secured a $7.7 billion agreement with Rogers, which surpasses the previous media rights contract by more than double the amount they agreed upon 10 years ago. President Donald J. Trump announced a national emergency to enhance the United States' competitive advantage, safeguard its sovereignty, and bolster its national and economic security. He stated that foreign trade and economic practices have led to this emergency, and his directive includes imposing tariffs to improve the U.S.'s global economic standing and protect American workers. Treasury Secretary Bessent urged countries not to retaliate following the Comprehensive Liberation Day tariffs. In the U.S., the Senate criticized Trump's tariffs, with some Republicans voting to stop taxes on Canadian imports. Princeton University is contemplating the issuance of bonds on the same day that the federal government temporarily halts the distribution of grants. The Trump administration has delivered a list of demands to Harvard University, emphasizing the need to safeguard federal funds. Brown University finds itself under scrutiny from the Trump administration, following Columbia University, and is at risk of losing $510 million in.
Get your daily news fix from newsworthy's latest edition. April 2nd, 2025 featuring crypto. April 2nd, 2025 featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Politics, tech, and more. Top songs on YouTube music charts. Top songs on YouTube music charts. Global edition from March 21st to Global edition from March 21st to March 27th, 2025. March 27th, 2025. 1. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars 2. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars 3. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres 4. Like Jenny by Jenny. Spotify. Like Jenny by Jenny. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global. spanning from Friday, March 21st to Thursday, March 27th, spanning from Friday, March 21st to Thursday, March 27th, 2025 and 2025. Features the following tracks. Dive. Features the following tracks. Die with a Smile, by Lady Gaga, APT by Rose and Bruno Mars, Birds of a Feather, by Billie Eilish, and Anxiety by Doeki I. Top-selling digital games on Nintendo US as of March 31, 2025. Minecraft, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Definitive Edition, and Stardew Valley. Steam's most popular games. Featuring the leading titles in sales and player engagement on the platform. Based on the revenue rankings of the top 100 products, for the period from Tuesday, March 18, 2025, to Tuesday, March 25, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, REPO, Split Fiction, Monster Hunter Wilds. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA has issued a detailed report on the resurge malware, which is linked to the Ivanti Connect secure system. One more drop in the ocean of AI. ByteDance introduces Mega TTS 3, a remarkable addition. This text-to-speech (TTS) system is characterized by its lightweight and efficient design, with the core TTS diffusion transformer containing a mere 0.45 billion parameters. It excels in producing ultra-high-quality voice clones, as demonstrated in the video provided below. The performance of recent TTS models on the seed test sets is detailed in the accompanying table. Mega TTS 3 offers bilingual capabilities, accommodating both Chinese and English, and includes the ability to switch between languages. It also provides control over accent intensity and, in the near future, will allow for precise adjustments to pronunciation and duration. Israel plans to regain control over 25% of Gaza in an effort to compel Hamas to release hostages, according to an official statement. Hamas has reportedly reduced its casualty figures by thousands. The Independent has published a report alleging that Palestinian doctors were subjected to torture to extract confessions, highlighting severe abuse claims against Israeli soldiers. The Trump family is putting money into a Bitcoin mining business. Coinbase experienced its most challenging quarter since the FTX collapse, as the cryptocurrency market continues to decline. Bybit has decided to close its NFT marketplace due to a decrease in trading activity. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Mark Zuckerberg is attempting to involve Donald Trump in his efforts to challenge a recent decision by the European Union against Meta. France's antitrust authority has imposed a fine exceeding $160 million on Apple due to issues with third-party pop-ups. In China, Douyin, a platform owned by ByteDance, is providing insights into its recommendation algorithm in response to mounting regulatory scrutiny. Significant reductions in air pollution levels in China have led to an increase in global warming. Recent research indicates that if the global temperature rises by 4 degrees Celsius, the average individual could experience a 40% decrease in their wealth. There is a potential for honeybee colonies to suffer a 70% decline by 2025, which could have severe repercussions for agricultural practices. Researchers propose that OpenAI utilized paywalled O'Reilly books for training their AI models. The Alan Turing Institute is set to undergo a significant overhaul in an effort to bring itself up to date with modern standards. AI models have been found to overlook diseases in Black and female patients. Amazon has introduced Nova Act, an artificial intelligence agent capable of managing a web browser. Microsoft is in the process of revamping the Windows blue screen of death, potentially transforming it into a black screen. Google is simplifying the use of end-to-end encrypted Gmail, making it accessible to everyone, including those who use Outlook. California currently boasts a 48% increase in electric vehicle chargers compared to the number of gasoline nozzles available throughout the state. In China, flying taxis are on the verge of taking off as the first companies have successfully obtained essential licenses. Scientific American has weighed in on the matter, highlighting that major banks are discreetly making preparations for the potential catastrophic effects of global warming. Politico has reported that banks are envisioning a bleak climate future, yet they are also identifying opportunities to capitalize on it. The New York Post has reported that since the Trump administration assumed office, It has apprehended 113,000 migrants and deported more than 100,000 individuals. The Trump Department of Justice has acknowledged that an administrative error resulted in an innocent father being wrongfully imprisoned in El Salvador. In the United States, technology companies are advising their immigrant employees who are on visas to refrain from leaving the country. China initiates military exercises encircling Taiwan, labels its president as a parasite, while the White House cautions China regarding these war maneuvers close to Taiwan. The Philippine military leader advises soldiers to begin preparations in anticipation of a potential conflict involving Taiwan. The United States grants approval for the sale of 20 F-16 fighter jets to the Philippines, as Washington strengthens its crucial alliances in Asia. The Trump administration has established a task force to examine Harvard University's financial support following Columbia University's compliance with federal requirements. This initiative is part of a broader review by the Trump administration, which plans to scrutinize $9 billion in contracts and grants awarded to Harvard. Trump has temporarily halted numerous federal grants to Princeton University. In other news, Senator Marco Rubio has instructed U.S. diplomats to thoroughly investigate the social media accounts of student visa applicants. Germany is referencing post-Holocaust principles in its efforts to deport pro-Palestinian demonstrators. A new type of particle known as a beauty baryon has been identified at the world's largest particle accelerator located at CERN. Physicists have uncovered evidence suggesting an asymmetry between matter and antimatter in the decay processes of baryons and beauty hadrons. Furthermore, the head of CERN has warned that without the development of a massive particle collider, Europe might lose its leadership in the field of physics to China. This warning comes as CERN reveals its plans to construct a new particle accelerator that will surpass the size of the existing Large Hadron Collider. Roblox users have the opportunity to view Google's immersive advertisements in return for receiving in-game benefits. An analyst has valued YouTube at a potential $550 billion, dubbing it the new king of all media, as it is on the verge of surpassing Disney to become the largest media company globally. Amazon is launching a new strategy for its movies, beginning with theatrical releases. The spotlight is on assisted driving technology following a deadly electric car accident in China, prompting Xiaomi to collaborate with authorities regarding the SU-7 EV's autonomous driving system. Dongfeng and Changan are suggesting a potential merger that might result in the formation of the globe's fifth largest automotive group. The European Union has imposed a $495.3 million fine on car manufacturers as part of an investigation into vehicle recycling practices. An advisor to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, has stated that Iran will be compelled to acquire nuclear weapons if it faces an attack. Yemen's Houthi rebels have asserted that they successfully downed another American drone, as the United States continues to conduct military strikes in the region. Russian lawmakers have introduced a legislative proposal aimed at removing the Taliban from the list of terrorist organizations. Employees from Intel and Microsoft are said to have been deceived into accepting positions with a fictitious Chinese company located in Taiwan. In India's IT industry, a significant issue of burnout is being reported, with approximately 25% of professionals working 70 or more hours each week. North Korea is allegedly employing fake tech workers to target employers in Europe. The mayor of London has decided to discontinue the support line for victims of cybercrime. Banks and technology companies in the UK have pledged to engage in real-time data sharing as part of efforts to combat fraud. In Russia, authorities have detained 3 individuals suspected of developing the Maymont malware, which is linked to more than 300 instances of cybercrime. In the United States, people are increasing their savings while reducing their spending in anticipation of the impending tariffs imposed by President Trump. Visa has reportedly extended an offer of approximately $100 million to Apple in an attempt to replace MasterCard as the credit card provider. Furthermore, TSMC has forecasted a significant economic impact of $2.5 trillion as a result of the development and implementation of 2nm technology. The ChatGPT free image generator has garnered the attention of 1 million users within just 1 hour of its launch. Runway has introduced a new AI video model that aims to ensure consistent character representation. In a related development, Microsoft has closed its AI laboratory in Shanghai, indicating a more significant retreat from its operations in China. A new California ballot initiative, known as the Luigi Mangione Act, aims to increase the difficulty for insurance companies to refuse medical coverage. In the United States, the Department of Justice has announced its intention to pursue the death penalty for Luigi Mangione, who is accused of murdering the CEO of United Healthcare. Following the rejection of its third bankruptcy settlement, Johnson & Johnson has declared its decision to face talc-related lawsuits in court, after a U.S. judge declined to approve J&J's proposed $10 billion settlement for baby powder cases. China, Japan, and South Korea have reached an agreement to address U.S. tariffs and are looking to enhance their trade relations. The Chinese foreign minister has expressed a commitment to maintaining a friendship with Russia, stating, "Friends forever, never enemies." Additionally, the United States has imposed sanctions on officials from China and Hong Kong for their involvement in targeting activists overseas. BlackRock has received approval to operate as a cryptocurrency asset firm in the UK, and its CEO, Larry Fink, has suggested that Bitcoin might eventually replace the dollar as the global reserve currency due to rising national debt. In a disturbing development within the cryptocurrency world, a trader's suicide on XLive has been turned into a meme coin, highlighting the darker aspects of the industry. Trade groups in the UK are calling on the government to focus on cryptocurrency as a key strategic sector. The Oxford Dictionary has included the Filipino term jiggle, which describes an overwhelming feeling of cuteness. In Japan, the Sukiya restaurant chain plans to shut down almost 2,000 locations following the discovery of a rat and a cockroach in one of their dishes. Microsoft has employed artificial intelligence to identify vulnerabilities in the Grub 2, U-Boot, and Bearbox bootloaders. A recent study indicates that the actual population of Earth could exceed the officially reported 8.2 billion people. Research in pedestrian physics demonstrates that the chaotic behavior of crowds is triggered by small changes in angles. Furthermore, single-cell immune aging clocks have uncovered significant differences in how individuals age during infections and vaccinations. In the United States, Senators Mike Lee and Tommy Tuberville have put forth a legislative proposal aimed at eliminating the Transportation Security Administration, TSA. In the Middle East, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia are collaborating on a unified bid to host the Rugby World Cup in the year 2035. Air Canada has reported a decrease of 10% in bookings from the United States, attributing this decline to the ongoing trade tensions between the two nations. Zack Snyder has teamed up with the UFC and Turki Al-Sheikh to create a new film titled Brawler. The CEO of Netflix has declared that movie theaters are no longer relevant, questioning what message consumers are sending. John Boyega has expressed that Star Wars is so predominantly white that the presence of a black character is considered significant, noting that toxic fans are comfortable with black characters playing supporting roles but resist them being portrayed as heroes. A study by the People's Liberation Army suggests that Chinese submarines equipped with lasers have the potential to disable Starlink satellites. Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced plans to draft an additional 160,000 Russian citizens to support the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. The United States Department of Defense is set to reassess the physical fitness requirements for military personnel in combat roles. According to a report by the Washington Post, it has been revealed that Waltz and his team utilized Gmail for conducting government communications, as stated by officials. Elon Musk made a visit to the CIA to engage in discussions regarding potential downsizing efforts. Furthermore, Donald Trump has hinted that Elon Musk's Doge might be closed down much sooner than its originally anticipated date. Sweden is reintroducing books and handwriting exercises into its schools, which have been heavily reliant on technology. New York is considering implementing a statewide prohibition on cell phones in educational institutions. Hong Kong plans to prohibit flavored smoking products next year, beginning with those that are not menthol-flavored. Trump issues executive order aimed at combating ticket scalpers and their automated systems. Trump establishes an investment office to manage funds allocated for the CHIPS Act. The New York Times discloses that a prosecutor affiliated with Trump is attempting to weaken Biden's pardons. Val Kilmer, known for his roles in Top Gun and as Batman, has passed away at the age of 65. The actor was renowned for his passionate and intense acting style. In other news, the Snow White film has faced significant criticism on IMDb, with accusations of a smear campaign involving Rachel Zegler. Tom Holland's upcoming Spider-Man 4 has been officially titled Spider-Man: Brand New Day, with filming scheduled to begin this summer. The military regime in Myanmar has discharged warning shots at a convoy delivering aid to those affected by the earthquake, as various organizations attempt to reach the victims. In a related development, the United States has proposed naming a street in Washington, D.C., as Jimmy Lai Way to honor the imprisoned media tycoon, during a speech by the Hong Kong Trade Office. Andreessen Horowitz is reportedly in discussions to assist in purchasing the shares held by TikTok's Chinese owners. Von der Leyen has committed to employing every available strategy to counter Trump's retaliatory tariffs. Britain remains optimistic that an economic agreement could lead to the reversal of these tariffs. The Telegraph expresses concern, suggesting that Trump is planning the largest tax increase in global history. The New Republic criticizes, stating that Trump's actions are likely to damage the economy, a pattern they attribute to Republicans. Goldman Sachs warns that Trump's tariffs could cause inflation to rise, hinder economic growth, and increase the likelihood of a recession. The Washington Examiner provides commentary as Republicans rejoice over the full removal of BLM Plaza. The Trump administration is celebrating a significant increase in self-deportations, describing it as sky-high levels of reverse migration. Additionally, Marine Le Pen supporters in Russia and Hungary are criticizing the guilty verdict, and Le Pen herself plans to appeal the French election ban following an embezzlement ruling. TikTok is discontinuing its platform TikTok Notes, which was designed to compete with Instagram. Substack is introducing a feature in its app that resembles TikTok's video feed. The BBC plans to engage in discussions with AI providers and increase its investment in TikTok. David Fincher is set to direct Brad Pitt in a Netflix sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, based on a script by Quentin Tarantino. Keanu Reeves will unexpectedly return to the John Wick universe in both Chapter 5 and an animated prequel. Furthermore, the cast for the Beatles biopics has been announced, with all 4 films directed by Sam Mendes scheduled for release in 2028. Norway is being encouraged to lift its prohibition on its $1.8 trillion wealth fund investing in companies that produce weapons. U.S. officials are expressing disapproval of Europe's efforts to procure weapons from local manufacturers. According to Reuters, sources indicate that Trump is in the process of drafting an executive order aimed at boosting weapons exports. The Wall Street Journal offers commentary on how Europe is ignoring Erdogan's crackdown due to its reliance on Turkey. A majority of Americans report being well informed about the happenings related to the Trump administration. Cory Booker has set a new Senate record by delivering a speech that lasted 25 hours, which also garnered over 350 million likes during a live broadcast on TikTok. The hashtag Obama2028 has gained popularity on X, coinciding with Donald Trump's mention of a potential third-term candidacy. A massive claw discovered in Mongolia has been identified as belonging to a previously unknown species of dinosaur with only 2 fingers. In Brazil, a velvet ant has been found to be so dark that it is considered ultra-black. Geoscientists have made the discovery that North America is experiencing significant water leakage from beneath its surface. A new photothermocatalytic reactor, along with a selective solar absorber, has been developed for the sustainable production of fuel through the process of ethylene oligomerization, in other words plain sunlight used to generate jet fuel. Get your daily news fix from newsworthy's latest edition. March 31, 2025, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Top songs on YouTube music charts, global edition from March 21 to March 27, 2025. 1. Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars 3. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres 4. Like Jenny by Jenny. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, March 21 to Thursday, March 27, 2025, features the following tracks. Die with a Smile, by Lady Gaga, APT by Rose and Bruno Mars, Birds of a Feather, by Billie Eilish, and Anxiety by Doeki I. Top-selling digital games on Nintendo US as of March 31, 2025. Minecraft, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Definitive Edition, and Stardew Valley. Steam's most popular games. Featuring the leading titles in sales and player engagement on the platform. Based on the revenue rankings of the top 100 products, for the period from Tuesday, March 18, 2025, to Tuesday, March 25, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, REPO, Split Fiction, Monster Hunter Wilds. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA has issued a detailed report on the Resurge malware, which is linked to the Ivanti Connect secure system. One more drop in the ocean of AI. ByteDance introduces Mega TTS 3, a remarkable addition. This text-to-speech (TTS) system is characterized by its lightweight and efficient design, with the core TTS diffusion transformer containing a mere 0.45 billion parameters. It excels in producing ultra-high-quality voice clones, as demonstrated in the video provided below. Additionally, the performance of recent TTS models on the seed test sets is detailed in the accompanying table. Mega TTS 3 offers bilingual capabilities, accommodating both Chinese and English, and includes the ability to switch between languages. It also provides control over accent intensity and, in the near future, will allow for precise adjustments to pronunciation and duration. The University of Michigan has shut down its Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion (DEI) office, terminating a significant financial investment in diversity initiatives. This decision comes amid reports that billions of dollars in federal funding could be jeopardized as President Trump calls for U.S. universities to adhere to his directives. Additionally, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, chair has initiated an investigation into the Walt Disney Company regarding its DEI programs. Furthermore, the U.S. government has mandated that French companies comply with Trump's diversity restrictions. Crisis presents an opportunity. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni aims to establish Italy as a key link between the United States and Europe, dismissing the notion of having to choose between Donald Trump and European interests. Meanwhile, France sees the European military's actions in Ukraine as a testing ground for a NATO that might emerge after Trump's era. Additionally, Finland's President Sauli Niinistö engaged in a golf game with Trump, during which they talked about the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Axios reports that the Trump team is reassuring the public by emphasizing that tax cuts will soon arrive, so there's no need to worry about rising prices. Trump himself has expressed indifference to potential increases in auto prices due to tariffs and is reportedly urging his aides to implement even more significant tariffs as an important deadline approaches. Meanwhile, a CBS News poll indicates that Americans are more concerned about Trump focusing on prices rather than tariffs, although a majority do support his deportation efforts. Additionally, Brazil's President Lula has stated that he intends to engage in negotiations regarding tariffs before considering any retaliatory actions. SpaceX astronauts are set to attempt cultivating the inaugural mushrooms in space during the forthcoming Fram-2 mission, which will orbit over Earth's poles. Meanwhile, an explorer from Vancouver is reaching out to Trump for approval to extract metals from the Pacific Ocean floor. Additionally, a report indicates that U.S. scientists have experienced a loss of $3 billion in NIH grants since Trump assumed office. A Chinese scientist who faced exclusion due to his involvement in gene-edited babies is now aiming to make a return. Recent research indicates that the majority of early Europeans possessed dark skin, eyes, and hair until approximately 3,000 years ago. An ancient parasite employed a mechanism similar to that of a Venus flytrap to deposit eggs in its hosts. J.D. Vance acknowledges that he initially didn't fully understand Trump's motivation for wanting Greenland. However, Vance argues that the United States needs to have control over Greenland to counter the threats posed by China and Russia. He suggests that Greenland should consider making an agreement with the U.S. Meanwhile, Putin dismisses Trump's interest in acquiring Greenland, stating it has no relevance to Russia. Vance also criticizes Denmark for not investing enough in Greenland, as Trump continues to advocate for the U.S. to take over the island. In response to Trump's pressure, Greenland's political parties have formed a wide-ranging coalition government. Trump confidently asserts to NBC News that the US will definitely acquire Greenland, saying, "We'll get Greenland. Yeah, 100%. Chinese authorities have temporarily suspended the sale of Panama Canal ports. Pentagon official Hegseth has announced that the U.S. military presence in Japan, described as warrior, is being enhanced to serve as a deterrent against China, emphasizing Japan's crucial role in this strategy. Meanwhile, Greenland's prime minister has stated that the U.S. will not acquire the island. Axios has announced that the White House will now manage the seating arrangement in the briefing room. Additionally, White House correspondents have dismissed a comedian for making offensive remarks about MAGA on the Beast podcast. Meanwhile, Mike Huckabee, whom Trump has chosen as the ambassador to Israel, is attempting to separate himself from his previous statements regarding Palestinians. The Hill has criticized Huckabee, suggesting that his extreme views could lead to chaos in the Middle East. A supercomputer has revealed the chaotic nature of hypersonic flows at Mach 16. In Beijing, a new X-ray light source has been constructed, boasting a brightness 1 trillion times greater than the sun. Additionally, a method has been developed to generate power by harnessing Earth's movement through its own magnetic field. Turkey has detained a Swedish journalist on charges of insulting the president and terrorism. In the United States, private organizations are actively identifying and reporting student protesters, potentially leading to their deportation. Additionally, it has been reported that hundreds of international students received an email instructing them to self-deport due to their involvement in campus activism. In a confidential meeting, Vance and his leading advisors proposed that Trump remove Waltz, but Trump is reportedly reluctant to dismiss Waltz or others implicated in the Signal chat leak, according to officials. Meanwhile, Trump has mentioned he is contemplating options for a third presidential term, although he stated he doesn't wish to discuss it at present, despite numerous people urging him to run. Additionally, Axios has reported that Trump plans to visit Saudi Arabia in May, marking his first international trip, as indicated by sources. Novo Nordisk's diabetes medication has been shown to reduce the risk of cardiovascular issues by 14% over a 4-year period. Additionally, the newest Alzheimer's treatments have the potential to extend patients' years of independence. Furthermore, a study indicates that lifestyle choices have a greater influence on lifespan than genetic factors. The Academy has issued an apology for not providing sufficient support to the Oscar-winning Palestinian director. Meanwhile, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu plans to visit Hungary, despite an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. Additionally, Iran has declined to engage in direct nuclear negotiations with former President Trump but remains open to indirect discussions, following Trump's previous warning to Iran that there will be bombing if Tehran rejects U.S. nuclear talks. The UK regulatory body plans to begin granting licenses to cryptocurrency companies by the year 2026. Meanwhile, in the United States, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has concluded its investigation into Crypto.com without taking any further action. Additionally, a report suggests that Japan is considering reclassifying cryptocurrency as a financial product in an effort to reduce insider trading. A record-breaking number of 736,000 sandhill cranes have gathered in Nebraska during the peak of spring migration, and there are no indications of bird flu, despite previous worries. In China, researchers are employing laser drones to accurately count the nation's vast population of trees, totaling 142.6 billion. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, rice farmers are demonstrating against what they perceive as misguided regulations that are contributing to rice shortages. Samsung Electronics has introduced its AI home concept, featuring enhanced artificial intelligence and improved screens in a variety of new product lines. Meanwhile, Google has ceased manufacturing the Nest Protect and the Nest X Shale lock. Additionally, China's supersonic jet, the C-949, aims to achieve a 50% increase in range compared to the Concorde and produce 95% less noise. Split Fiction secures its spot in gaming history by achieving 3 world records. Korea's Krafton is challenging the 25-year dominance of The Sims. Nintendo is reportedly planning a Zelda movie trilogy, with filming planned for New Zealand. A significant breach in Oracle Cloud has led to the exposure of over 6 million records, potentially endangering more than 140,000 tenants. Additionally, 1.5 million private photographs from LGBTQ+, BDSM, and sugar dating applications have been compromised. The HTTPS certificate industry has implemented new security measures, including multi-perspective issuance corroboration and linting. RFK Jr. has compelled Peter Marks, a leading vaccine official, to resign. In his resignation letter, Marks refutes Kennedy's falsehoods. Additionally, RFK Jr. is anticipated to dismiss the entire staff of the Office of Infectious Disease and HIV/AIDS Policy. Meanwhile, there are reports that DOJ is advocating for businesses to manage government services to the greatest extent feasible. STAT has expressed that, noting that the removal of FDA's Peter Marks has alarmed the biopharma industry, which regarded him as a supporter. Michael Mann has submitted his script for Heat 2 to Warner Bros. The Lumen Terminal Pro computer has been featured on Apple's website. Venice has announced it will be the venue for Bezos' wedding and has refuted claims of potential disruptions to the city. The Frick Collection in New York City is set to reopen following a significant renovation costing $330 million. A collection of previously unseen paintings by the renowned kitsch artist Thomas Kincaid has been revealed. The upcoming film Ne Zha 2 is expected to boost global box office projections for 2025 to a total of $34 billion. China's 4 leading state-owned banks are planning to generate $72 billion through stock sales to enhance their capital reserves. Additionally, Google has reached a settlement of $100 million in a lawsuit concerning advertisers who were overcharged. Meanwhile, the first orbital rocket launched from mainland Europe experienced a crash shortly after it took off. Xpeng predicts that the robotics industry will surpass the automotive sector in size within the next few years. Xpeng is making a significant investment of $413 million in a new factory located in Guangzhou, focusing on the development of flying cars. Meanwhile, SoftBank Group is considering a massive $1 trillion initiative in the United States to establish industrial parks dedicated to AI robots. Additionally, DeepSeek has increased the confidence of wealthy Chinese investors in technology stocks, according to a banker from Standard Chartered. A letter from the industry warns that more than $13 billion in investments in solar and wind energy projects in Vietnam could be jeopardized. Meanwhile, Japan is planning to allocate an unprecedented $133 billion to enhance its resilience against earthquakes. Additionally, as the global climate warms, changes in cloud patterns are contributing to increased uncertainty about climate conditions. Authorities in London have detained individuals responsible for organizing a protest related to Gaza at the Quaker House. Meanwhile, Haaretz has published an article discussing the situation in Gaza, where it claims that nearly every unit of the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, employs Palestinian individuals as human shields, likening them to a sub-army of forced laborers. Additionally, reports have emerged of the discovery of the bodies of aid workers who were previously missing, found in a mass grave in Gaza following Israeli military operations. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, has withdrawn its previous guidance regarding banks and cryptocurrency, indicating that banks are now permitted to participate in cryptocurrency activities without needing prior approval. Additionally, FTX is set to commence $11.4 billion in creditor payouts in May, following a prolonged bankruptcy process. Furthermore, former President Donald Trump has granted pardons to 3 co-founders of the BitMEX cryptocurrency exchange and a former employee. A groundbreaking study has successfully blocked cancer's master switch permanently. In another significant development, artificial intelligence has demonstrated the ability to match pathologists in the diagnosis of celiac disease. Additionally, a recent study has revealed that PFAS chemicals are present in the drinking water of nearly half of the American population. The leaders of Harvard's Middle Eastern Studies Center are set to depart. According to an AP report, Israeli settlers were captured on video attacking a Palestinian village, yet only Palestinians were apprehended by the police. Additionally, CARE has criticized Secretary Hegseth's Kafir tattoo, labeling it as indicative of both anti-Muslim hostility and personal insecurity. AI specialists argue that our current approach is misguided in the quest to develop artificial intelligence that closely resembles human capabilities. Meanwhile, Wired reports that OpenAI's Sora is facing significant issues with biases, including sexism, racism, and ableism. Additionally, Apple is preparing to introduce a virtual healthcare assistant through Project Mulberry as it accelerates its efforts to enhance AI-driven health services. During the Trump administration, businesses are altering the branding of their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives rather than abandoning them. In the United States, the Naval Academy is making moves to eliminate diversity policies related to books and admissions. Meanwhile, Columbia University's president has been replaced amid threats from Trump concerning the university's funding. TSMC, Intel, and other leading chip manufacturers are reducing the pace of their expansion efforts in Japan and Malaysia. Meanwhile, the New York Times highlights that India is experiencing a significant hiring surge, which remains unaffected by Trump's tariffs. Additionally, the Wall Street Journal covers a conflict between Apple and Elon Musk regarding their satellite expansion strategies. Private equity firm Clearlake is set to acquire Dun & Bradstreet, a company specializing in business decisioning data and analytics, for a total of $4.1 billion in cash. Additionally, Reuters has reported that Blackstone is considering taking a small ownership stake in a US-based spin-off of TikTok, according to sources. Furthermore, Elon Musk has announced that he has sold X to his AI company, valuing the transaction at $33 billion. Financial Times notes that brands are spending minimal amounts on X advertisements to maintain Elon Musk's satisfaction. The Wall Street Journal reports that attempts to eliminate fake users for online advertisers have been unsuccessful, and DoubleVerify has responded to the Wall Street Journal's fact-checking and Adalytics report, acknowledging that both Adalytics and the Wall Street Journal recognize that the report's premise and conclusions lack factual support. Additionally, YouTube has disabled ad revenue for channels featuring fake movie trailers following an investigation by Deadline. In the United States, companies like Uber and DoorDash are advocating for a policy that would exempt tips from taxation, specifically benefiting their drivers. Meanwhile, in Bangladesh, individuals known as remittance warriors have successfully sent a record amount of $3 billion back to their country. Additionally, a poll conducted in the United Kingdom reveals that young people are more concerned about work and financial issues than they are about cultural conflicts or climate change. In the United States, far-right influencers are organizing a matchmaking event with a participation fee of $10,000 per person, aiming to increase the global population. Additionally, former President Trump has withdrawn research funding intended to safeguard pregnant women from domestic violence, citing concerns related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. Furthermore, a report indicates that Mike Waltz utilized the Signal messaging app for more confidential national security discussions. It is also reported that passwords and other sensitive information from high-ranking Trump officials have been discovered circulating online after a Signal leak. Trump is taking steps to remove unionization rights for the majority of federal employees. Meanwhile, in the United States, states are quickly employing federal workers who have been laid off due to DOGE-related budget cuts. Additionally, Elon Musk has stated that Trump will target individuals who are spreading falsehoods about Tesla. Frances Marine Le Pen has been found guilty in a European Union embezzlement case, which could jeopardize her chances in the 2027 presidential election. Additionally, she has been disqualified from holding office for a period of 5 years due to her conviction for corruption. In another development, law enforcement in Portugal successfully stopped a submarine that was attempting to cross the Atlantic Ocean with a significant amount of cocaine, weighing 6.5 tons. Meanwhile, an Indian court has declared Google's billing policy to be anti-competitive. Russia and the United States are in discussions regarding projects related to rare earth metals, according to an envoy from Putin. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, expressing frustration with Vladimir Putin, has threatened to impose tariffs on Russian oil if Moscow obstructs a deal concerning Ukraine. Additionally, Trump mentioned that he had a highly productive conversation with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, during which they reached agreements on numerous issues. Pakistan intends to deport 3 million Afghan individuals this year. In the United States, numerous individuals who have been granted parole have received an email from the government advising them to leave the country immediately. A study involving Lyft drivers has uncovered instances of racial profiling by law enforcement officers. A tsunami alert has been declared following a 7.1 magnitude earthquake that struck close to Tonga. In Myanmar, a strong earthquake caused damage to over 60 historic pagodas and structures, among them the Maha Mayat Muni Pagoda. Meanwhile, in the United States, severe storms have resulted in tornadoes and hail the size of golf balls, extending from the Great Lakes region to Texas. The New York Times highlights the increasing violence and viral spread of activities by online individuals who claim to hunt pedophiles. Additionally, the White House is experiencing criticism for using an image inspired by Studio Ghibli to depict a person convicted of dealing fentanyl. Furthermore, a reward in the form of a meme coin is being offered for information leading to the location of Joe Low, the mastermind behind the 1MDB